Backplate der Blinkenlight Bling! What a neat idea. Hello again, I am Blunty and I want to talk about the GeForce GTX 1080 today, and what you're looking at is a rendered image teasing one of the first GTX 1080 custom boards. And as you can see, it's from Zotac, a brand I don't have any direct experience with, as their presence in Australia isn't what I'd call high profile, but I hear very good things about them. Now, on the GTX 1080 in general for a bit, no, I'm not going to go through the tech details here. No, this isn't a preview. Yes, I'm very eager to get hands-on. No, I don't have a review sample yet. And yes, I expect I'll be moving my personal gaming rig over to the GTX 1080 as soon as I'm able, even though the Gigabyte Extreme Edition GeForce GTX 1080 Ti I have in there right now looks spectacular and absolutely monstrous games already, especially in the 1080p that I'm currently restricted to because of my crappy monitor. But sadly, so far all of the GTX 1080 review samples seem to have been plopped into the laps of the Yankee Doodle reviewers over there in the grand empire of New Trumpland. So, while supposedly the review embargo ends mid-next week on the 17th, I'm afraid I won't be in that first batch of review crews. And I'm only a little bit jealous about it. But that does mean by the time that I get one for testing, any review I make will be heavily eclipsed by the American ones already. I'd still rather be an Australian right now. But they are all working with the Founders Edition cards, what used to be called a reference card, i.e. the one that Nvidia themselves produce with a stock blower style cooler and standardized board. And of course there's still custom boards to come too from various brands, and arguably those are more exciting to review. Fancier coolers, slicker designs, neato RGB lights and out-of-the-box overclocks. But still, having the Founders Edition as a reference point would be handy, I have to admit. And aside from Nvidia's own vanilla flavour, other brands will be applying their stickers on and selling the Founders Edition too, including Zotac, who'll be making the flashy custom version we opened with as well, also Inno3D, who I know nothing about, just not familiar with that brand at all, but also out there pushing already are the fine folks at Gigabyte and Galax, two brands I do have very positive hands-on experience with, having reviewed the high-end 900 series cards from both of them. But Gigabyte already have also been out there teasing an incoming custom version too, under their Extreme branding no less. And speaking again as the owner of a Gigabyte Extreme Edition GeForce 980 Ti, I can tell you right now, an Extreme Edition of the GTX 1080 excites me very much indeed. Especially given that my new PC build can show off the Extreme Edition's LED fans really nicely. But Galax too are readying a custom board, sticking with a blower style cooler, but a much more subtle and stealthy look than Nvidia's stock blower cooler style, which is very likely to appeal to a bunch of people out there who think Nvidia's angular new cooler is a bit too much for them. And I expect over the next week or two we'll see the other big boys like Asus and MSI also start rumbling about their custom configs too. But it doesn't even stop there. The first on the ground with a tease for their custom watercooling block for the GTX 1080 is a Chinese company called Bixi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Looks kind of cool. I mean, it's nothing out of the ordinary for a water block kind of thing. I like that it's clear so you can see the fluid going through. That's always a nice thing as far as I'm concerned. There's also been some leaked benchmarks coming out already, the validity of which we'll see for sure this time next week when the real review embargoes end. But so far it's looking damn impressive, especially with an overclock pushing it up past 2 GHz. And outside of all the teasers and leaks so far, I'm going to say this much. I've had a couple of brands very eagerly asking me if I'll be at Computex, which unfortunately I won't be. I mean, even if I do get a last-minute invite from a brand to fly me up there, I'm currently trying to find a new place to live, so carving out a full week for a trip to Taipei isn't something I really can do right now. But the eagerness of these brand representatives does tell me something. It tells me it's very likely we'll have some big announcements coming at the start of June at Computex, and it's a safe assumption at this point several of them will be custom GTX 1080s. So, whose version of the GeForce GTX 1080 are you looking forward to seeing? Do you have a style or even a branded colour preference when it comes to cooler designs? Oh, and as a tease of my own, just to finish up here, keep your eyes on my channel and Twitter and stuff, as I just got a GPU delivered for a giveaway. And no, it's not a GTX 1080, but it is a really nice new GeForce GTX something. As always, I invite you to put your hands in my down below area and type something. I think that's the worst one yet. Thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time. Put your hands in my down below area.